Portions of the following program may be unsuitable for younger or more sensitive viewers. Viewer discretion is advised.
You could put half of Trump supporters into what I call the basket of deplorables. Right?
You have been sold a lie.
Let me out! Let me out!
The Matrix is a system, Neo. That system is our enemy. But when you're inside, you look around, what do you see? Businessmen, teachers, lawyers, carpenters, the very minds of the people we are trying to save. But until we do, these people are still a part of that system, and that makes them our enemy. You have to understand, most of these people are not ready to be unplugged. And many of them are so inert, so hopelessly dependent on the system that they will fight.
Hail Trump! Hail our people! Hail victory!
I don't know why we leaving Malcolm's house. He been good to us. He feed us on Saturday, close us on Sunday, and then beat us on Monday.
He's saving my money.
That is the most ridiculous piece of philosophical bullshit I have ever heard.
And the game's over when the white ball drives the black ball completely off the table.
I want to say, can we all get along? Can we get along?
He had sex with a white girl, that's what.
I want revenge.
So you must be dangerous.
I want you.
People with rhesus negative blood may be aliens. You know I'm going to say that again. People with rhesus negative blood may be aliens. Studies conducted on rhesus negative blood types show that they are missing the rhesus factor, a protein substance present in the red blood cells of other humans. Theories suggest that people with rhesus Rh negative blood may be from outside this world. Others suggest they are fallen angels from the heavens above, or they belong to an alien race from somewhere in the vast darkness of space. What is clear is that those who have with rhesus Rh negative blood are different and unique. A person who has Rh negative O blood is able to serve as a donor to any person regardless of their blood type. But if they need blood, only their own type will suffice. They represent 15% of the human race and are mostly from Northern Europe. The four common blood types of today include A, B, AB, and O. The difference between each blood type is dependent on the proteins in the blood. But when it comes to Rh negative blood types, which make up about 10 to 15% of the population, they don't have these proteins. The question that is on the minds of scientists now is where this group of Rh negative blood type people originated from. Looking back about 35,000 years, scientists believe that the blood type is linked to specific tribes and groups. Europeans have the greatest incidence of this blood type, but only 3% of African Americans have it, and only 1% of Asian people have it. Some common characteristics of people with this blood type include having a higher IQ, having a lower body temperature, having more awareness, physically and emotionally, having red hair, being sensitive to heat, and having blue, green, or hazel-colored eyes. This blood type is shrouded in even more mystery when we look at pregnant women. Rh negative women who become pregnant have difficulty delivering a baby with a Rh positive blood type, as their bodies naturally attack and try to kill the fetus. Thus, they are given a special sterilized solution, anti-D or RHOD, immunoglobulin. But why would the woman's body attack the offspring it's been helping give life to? This is where a relatively new theory comes in and suggests that it is possible alien life has influenced this blood type. What's even stranger is that almost every person who has reported being abducted by or interacted with aliens have the Rh negative blood type. It's certainly very possible that aliens visit our planet, as they've done for centuries, and somehow tooled around with the genetics of mankind. After all, history from all over the world has shown time and time again through ancient texts and depictions that we've been visited by beings not of this world.
Believe it or not, blood type matters for many reasons, some of which you probably don't even think about or even think would matter. So take a look at this.
Hey, how's y'all doing? This is your whiteologist, MrBlowsurmind, coming with another thought-provoking topic. That's right, y'all. I'm back again. I know y'all been slow about out here doing what y'all supposed to be doing, at least paying attention to some of the content. But for those who are listening, this is for you. Now, you see the story I just did as they're talking about this rhesus factor, right? And that in the blood of the beings on this planet, there's a difference between one blood type and another blood type. And in these blood types, the difference is about proteins, is what they're saying, right? And that people with the Rh negative blood may be from the outside of this world. Right? So others have suggested that these are the fallen angels from heaven from above. Now, those who have read the Bible, when it talked about those who fell from heaven, the children of man versus the children or the sons of God having children. Now, according to Genesis 6, 1 through 4, it reads, "And it came to pass, when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose. There were Nephilims on the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came unto the daughters of men, and they bare children to them, the same became mighty men, which of old, men of renown." They say that in the Antiquities of the Jews, written by Josephus, reads this in one of his paragraphs or his chapters: "Many angels of God accompanied with women, and begat sons that became unjust, on account of the confidence they had in their own strength, for the tradition is that these men did not resemble the acts of those whom the Grecians called giants." They say that Zachariah Sitchin, who's supposed to be a Semitic linguistic, he presented some Semitic linguistics by Zachariah Sitchin, right? And they said he transliterated exactly what that scripture should have said according to the Hebrew scripts. And it reads, "At that time the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were good, and that they took them for wives of all which they chose. The Nephilims were upon the earth in those days, and thereafter too, when the sons of the gods cohabitated with the daughters of men, and they bore children unto them, they were the mighty ones of eternity, the people of Shem." Is this where this story takes place? Is that what that story is talking about, that this specific bloodline or blood type was created through this ordeal, where it talks about them as Nephilims, who were the one they called the fellers, those who fell from heaven, who were a spiritual embodiment of those fallen angels, of those third that fell from heaven, that came down and materialized a body, and in that they created the outer shell of the physical dimension of a human, and started to procreate with women. And this blood type is still prevalent to this day. Is that what they're having reference to it? And also in this story, did it not say that there is a difference and unique aspect to that which has the Rh negative? Of course, every individual as a human being is going to be different and unique, right? It's like fingerprints, right? No matter how many people that you take, the possibilities of somebody having an identical fingerprint, right, is going to be different, even though you may be twins or quadruplets and so forth. That even though you may look alike, but there is difference amongst you. So we all are unique in that aspect. But what they're trying to imply here is the simple fact that people with the RS or the RH or the rhesus negative blood, right, seem to have some characteristics that make them a special people. They're more better than everybody else, right? They're not quite like everybody else. They're some of the things that it talked about, right? It talks about these people, right, which is basically when you break down these blood types of A, B, and O, and that the ones that do have this bloodline, they're about 10 to 15% of the population. And primarily these people with this gene type, okay, they say that most of all Europeans have the greatest incidence of this blood. And so when they say European, in the concept that we all know, that is basically saying white folks, right? But they said 3% of African Americans have it, and only 1% of Asian people have it, right? According to this story here now, right? Now, 3% of African Americans would have it based on the intermixture and mingling and multiracial dynamic of people being born through the, procreation of the peoples, right? And so Asians, based on the small population of Europeans in the Asian geographical locations, could not permeate so well. But us being African Americans, if that's what you want to call yourself, they have a 3% is because a lot of African Americans have a Caucasian base in their genetics, right? So remember that we are considered to be 12%, right? 12 to 13%, and that says 3% of us have a Rh negative blood type, is because the multiracial, the multicultural dynamics of dating and marrying and procreation with offsprings, right? So there's a giant proportion of our population that look black, that may be considered black, but genetically are not quite like the rest of us. So people with this, they say, has the characteristics with blood types. They say that they have a higher IQ, right? They are more intelligent according to them, who have created a dynamic that can study intelligence. Not wisdom, but intelligence, based on your consuming of the educational curriculum and so-called knowledge of the person who is of the dynamic of the Rh negative, right? So if you are a person that I hear a lot of them like to say, oh, he is uneducated because his articulation doesn't use the vocabularies of words that will satisfy me. I ain't speaking to you. I'm talking to my folks. You understand what I'm saying? If what you think you believe when you say that, then I shouldn't be able to read. I should be stuttering. I can't pronounce words. You understand? Man, nobody paying no attention to you, man. Shoot, man. Get out of here. You understand? Move on with that nonsense, man. I'm speaking to those who I need to be speaking to you. That rock that I'm throwing out there in that crowd of dogs, that one that's yelping, you keep on yelping, because that's all that is. I'm yawning, right? You know you're going to get that every time. Yawning, right? But anyway, they have lower body temperatures, right? So they kind of cold-blooded people, right? Low body temperature, right? That's why they can try to do these cannonball and polar bear, and try to climb the Mount Everest and, do all this crazy stuff that people of a higher body temperature don't really participate. Other those who be trying to acquiesce and fall in, and I'm trying to be down, right? You do all that stuff with them, right? They say they have more awareness. If that be the case, man, I don't understand how y'all be crashing the way they do when they be in them cars, right? You know what I'm saying? You ever see, there's some videos out here that must be showing, and I guess his whole perspective is he trying to say that women can't drive. But you don't be showing those sisters in there. You don't be showing anybody with they say positive blood. You don't see them tearing up their car, because people value their damn car. But these other people, their peripheral vision and their timing and distance and coordination, man, be off. They be driving in such a way that you be like, man, how you even did that is unbelievable. So to say they have more awareness, not really, because we can just put you in sports and just see the uncalculable, right, time of speed that it takes in coordination in sports. I'm not saying there's no exceptions to the rules, but we're talking about in the high percentile of it, you are very small, minute that have that ability. So to have more awareness, maybe you might be talking about war-wise, right? Keen as into animalisticness, right? Maybe that's what you're talking about, right? You say physically and emotionally. Physically, right? Brute, emotionally, if you had the emotions that you claim to have, this high awareness of emotion, then how is it that when people of color are complaining about all the issues, about the injustices and the disenfranchisement and stuff, you seem to not have any heart for any of that, right? So some of the characteristics also is red hair, right? They're very sensitive to heat. That's right. That dual sun system that's out there with that magnetizing sun, and how this planet now, that science keep, all of a sudden, have y'all noticed that? They keep talking about how all these new planets and all this stuff that they're now able to see with these different planets within the solar system, right? Right? So is it the fact that either your technology is able to reach out, or maybe the planet has moved to the dimensions of a new atmosphere, well, not say atmosphere, but a new solar sphere, right? And that we, in this dynamic, is going to cause some disruption to that which is not normal to it, because according to this story, something is not natural. So being sensitive to heat, in which heat is what gives life to the planet, and you have something in you that does not resonate, that it is something negative to its being, right? Some of the other characteristics, you have blue eyes, green eyes, hazel eyes, right? You have some people of color who are so fascinated and will go out their ways to try to discolor their natural, beautiful brown eyes to go get blue eyes, green eyes, and hazel. Now, there are some of our people who will naturally be born with this type, and that is through the genetical process. But according to this, it is telling you that people that have this, there is this dynamic in them, in that bloodline, that is part of this specks of genetics of this Rh negative genetics. And so, a lot of you have women, and some of you women with these men who have white men that you don't know, that I've seen a sister, and I'm gonna put this up with a sister, and I'm not sure whether this sister or not is having, well, I'm not even going to show this sister because I'm not here to try, again, I don't do this to try to really make fun of anybody. I do this as for information, and it is what it is, you know. But there was a sister I seen in a video where she was having a baby and having complications. Said she was spotting in her pregnancy, and she had to go get some as it said here, that RhoGAM, right, the RhoGAM, right, which is the shot that they take so that their antigens don't, right, so they can be compatible. So let's just look at that. If you have to take something that is artificial, we got to take something that's artificial to assimilate it into you to make it natural. Is it a natural process when you understand how this whole dynamic of this works? Now, let me show you this here. Check this out.
Hey guys, this video is going to be an introduction to the drug known as RhoGAM, an introduction as to why we give it to pregnant mothers or people about to undergo blood transfusions. We're going to begin with a basic, brief overview of immunology and an introduction to the symbols I'm going to be using in this video. The symbols I'm going to be using are for antibody, this Y shape or peace sign shape, however you want to think about it, where the binding site is located here. And you'll know what I mean by binding site in a second, because the binding site is where it binds the antigen. An antigen can be a bacterium, a virus or a viral infected cell, a foreign cell. Just this is immunology in a nutshell. So here you can see immunity. We have a cell with an antigen on its cell membrane being attached or bonded to by an antibody. This is the whole premise of immunology, and that's how our body recognizes what's foreign. So we have antibodies that then recognize what's foreign, bind to it, and we go from there. Now, an introduction to where Rho, or RH, comes from. It's actually a name that comes from the rhesus monkeys. So that's where the RH comes from. It also can be called the D antigen. So the Rho, or D antigen, is on a red blood cell, which the symbol for is going to be this in this little presentation. And that right there is going to be that D, or like we just said, there's an antigen. That's going to be our Rho or D antigen, as opposed to an RH negative cell, which does not have the antigen. So this is going to be RH positive, RH negative. And these are red blood cells again. So here we have blood types. You probably know your blood type as A positive or O negative. The negative or positive or whatever you are is referring to RH positive or RH negative. Again, that can be D or whatever they, however they want to name it. But for the sake of this presentation, we're going to call it RH positive or RH negative. Again, Rh positive have red blood cells with that Rho antigen. Rh negative red blood cells do not have the antigen. Now, in the bloodstream of Rh positive individuals, they don't have any Rho antibodies, because if they did, their own antibodies would bind to their own blood, which you don't want to have your immune system recognizing your own blood as foreign, right? So there's going to be no antibodies and no possible immune response to your own blood. With Rh negative individuals, they can have antibodies if they're sensitized, and we'll talk about what sensitization means here in a second. But the normal person, or not, I shouldn't say normal, but the unsensitized Rh negative person is going to have no antibodies. But if they encounter an Rh positive blood or antigen, they then can make antibodies because their bloodstream will recognize it as foreign because their normal blood does not have the antigen. So sensitization. That's when Rh negative person has encountered Rh positive blood through like a blood transfusion or through pregnancy where their blood is mixing with the fetus's blood, and thus they make antibodies to this foreign or the encountered Rh positive antigen on the foreign bloodstream. Here it is symbolically. So non-sensitized blood, before sensitization there's no antigen, no antibodies. Sensitized blood is the person's blood cells and then a donor, or the fetus's blood cells, which you notice here have the Rh antigen. And so thus, the Rh negative bloodstream now has antibodies because this is technically foreign blood. Thus, the antigens are foreign, so we make antibodies to attack it. Now, post-sensitization, post that encounter, you'll notice that the donor's blood, which looked like this, is absent because it's been taken care of or used or degraded. However, we still have the antibodies, and this is where the danger occurs, because now that you have antibodies made, your succeeding encounter with Rh positive blood can lead to really bad things like hydrops fetalis in a fetus, which can kill your fetus, or erythroblastosis fetalis. Basically, it's where you can get a blood transfusion, and that transfused blood, which is supposed to save your life or treat you, might actually end up hurting you very badly because your bloodstream and these antibodies will start attacking this donor blood that you need. And this is why we give the drug called RhoGAM to pregnant mothers who are Rh negative. We give it during or before a sensitizing event, so we give it during pregnancy, if you have an Rh positive fetus, or if you're about to have a blood transfusion, you're Rh negative. And essentially what RhoGAM is here are your Rh negative blood cells. We give RhoGAM, which are synthetic, made from outside source antibodies. Thus, you don't have to make your own antibodies. And in fact, your immune system is fooled into thinking that everything's great and kosher. There's no need to make your own antibodies because we have these outside sourced ones. That's what RhoGAM is. It's Rho immunoglobulin, but it's given via injection. Now, if that Rh positive blood is encountered during pregnancy or delivery of the baby or blood transfusion, no sensitization occurs. Because like I said, your immune system doesn't see any antigens because all the antigens are already covered up by RhoGAM. So your immune system knows nothing better and just thinks that you're being given Rh negative blood because it doesn't see any antigens. One thing to note is during pregnancy, even if you're an Rh negative mother, like if your blood type is A negative, you still can have a positive blood type fetus if the male that you have the fetus with is a positive blood type. So through genetics, the infant can be either negative or positive if the parents are negative and positive. This is why we give RhoGAM at 28 weeks of gestation and within 72 hours of delivery to Rh negative pregnant women, so we prevent that sensitization. With the first Rh positive fetus, you're not going to have that big of a reaction because no antibodies have been made. But during that sensitization, antibodies will be made, so thus with the next Rh positive baby that you have, now you have those antibodies, and that there's a good chance that fetus won't survive all the way through gestation. And that's all I have today for why we give RhoGAM and how it works.
All of human history has led to this moment. The irony is we created you. And nature has been punishing us ever since. This is our last stand. And if we lose, it would be a planet of apes.
Now that you done seen that, so should be in your mind is when you procreating with people who are outside of your blood type, that naturally in the biology of the two beings, one positive, one negative, there is going to be something that is foreign to each other. And by being foreign means that it has to purge out the other, which means it is technically not natural and technically not compatible. I'm going to say that again. When two people, one a positive, Rh positive and Rh negative, are trying to combine to procreate, why is it that you need science to put something artificial in the natural process to make it compatible? Because you are not naturally compatible, but you are making a substitute to make it, because naturally those two will war to kill the fetus, because it is a foreign antibody coming in, and it is only natural for the body to fight that what is not natural. So you mean to tell me that this is natural? Why is it natural? Why is it that they say that Rh negative women who become pregnant have difficulty delivering a baby with the Rh positive blood type? And that their bodies naturally attack and try to kill the fetus. Why is that there? Because it is not natural. There is something that is in you that is foreign to me, that is not supposed to be something that we are supposed to be putting together naturally. This isn't about race. This is just what it is. So when everybody keeps trying to tell us that we're all the same and we're all alike and we're all... No, then you're going against the science that's telling you that there is an incompatibility here.
Or if you're planning to get pregnant, please get your partner tested. Make sure what their blood type exactly is. If your partner is a true rhesus negative, and rhesus negative is really just a common way to describe D negative. When you test negative for the D, and the D has been found in the rhesus monkey. So this is why D positive or D negative have been termed as rhesus positive and rhesus negative. But there are some times that a blood test cannot be 100% accurate. And a person can be either a weak D or a partial D. A weak D means that you are actually D positive, which is rhesus positive, but the amount of D antigens is very, very low. Very, very low. So in some blood tests, it can show up as being D negative, which is rhesus negative, when in reality you're rhesus positive.
That when you said you need to use special sterilized solution. Special? This is some concoction somebody made up, right? Anti-D or RhoD, which they call it immunoglobulin, right? This is what you have to use in order to make a procreation. So, right? So they say what they attributed to this difference or this uniqueness, they said that, well, alien life has influenced this blood, right? Aliens, right? They say aliens did this, right? Really? How do you go about that? Because the only thing I know about aliens is other than in that law. Now check this out. Another point that deserves mentioning is the word aliens, right? In the Declaration of Independence, we get the terms unalienable rights, but few really know what these terms means and how they really apply. The meaning of aliens has changed in our nomenclature. Today, alien means a being from outer space or foreign, right? Although these new meanings are accepted in the consensus reality, the real meanings are still the same as they have always been. The legal implication of the term unalienable and alien still strictly relates to the law. The law. If someone were to say unalienable rights, most think this means that their rights are not foreign and cannot be taken by a foreign entity. This is an incorrect understanding of the term. When someone says unalienable rights, what they are saying is that no one can put a lien on your rights. The word is not alien, it is a lien. When a contractor builds a new addition to your house, under the law, he can place a lien on your home in the event you do not pay him for the work. If you do not pay your taxes, the government can put a lien on all your assets, which includes property. This would be called a tax lien. So when someone says unalienable rights, they simply mean unalienable rights. No one can place a lien on you, so when a person enters this country illegally, they are called aliens. Because the United States of America is a private corporation, incorporated to do a business. A lien is placed on all properties for which the government has not been paid. The problem is, since the United States has no true legal ownership of the property, persons who sneak into this country, those persons who refer to as illegal aliens. So, what are you saying, Mr. Blow Your Mind? I'm saying an alien is just basically a foreigner. Something that is foreign, that does not have the right to be there without the approval of that which it is trying to enter. So an alien is nothing but more than foreign. Nothing maybe in spaceships and creatures and so forth. Do they exist? They might. But we're talking about us. Right? We're talking about us as people on this planet. If they exist and they're hiding and we don't see them, what you don't see, you can't, right? You can't make reference to something or deal with something you don't see. Does it exist? It's the same thing when you talk about a lot of stuff. If there is no, what they call primary evidence, then it's just hearsay. So according to this story, they says the alien life has influenced this blood type. Okay, but what aliens are you talking about? Now, will they go back into this Anunnaki story with the Nephilims, right? And you have to go and do your research about that, right? And they said the aliens has the RH negative blood type. Well, what aliens? Who are the aliens? Oh, the foreigners who came from, what they said in this story earlier, was the northern people from Northern Europe who came down upon all the positive people. Is that the aliens? Or that them who were trying to put a lien upon the people, the property, and everything, and calling it aliens, what really it means unalienable rights, which they have taken from us, which they are the aliens? And the creation, which is said in the story that they tooled around with the genetics of mankind. So whoever was the creator of them tooled around to create them, and now they have come back on everybody and put a lien on the whole damn planet. That's your alien, y'all. That's who the alien is. And so this is Mr. Blow Your Mind. I come with a little short video. Just wanted to show you something, man. That all this stuff that we're seeing, this incompetitiveness, we're seeing this high rise of race and tension and all this anger set up is because it is natural in the biology of it. It shows that you can't even put these two together, that it would not be a war. So if there's not going to be a separation amongst one or the other, it is only inevitable that they're going to war. This is Mr. Blow Your Mind. I ain't telling you what I heard. I'm telling you what I know.
Do you know your blood type?
Yes, I'm A positive.
And I'm O positive.
Oh, so then you don't have anything to worry about. You can actually say, he is your type.
All right, I knew it.